turned everyone's head by choosing Ty Simpson 13 overall. The pick made even bigger headlines when Sean McVay appeared, let's put it this way, unenthusiastic while discussing the decision with the media. Saturday, McVay was on with Schrager and Kyle Brandt here on ESPN and made it clear the quarterback was not the reason for his demeanor.
I would have been stoic by nature anyways, just based on the respect for Matthew, because it's a unique situation. You get a chance to be able to, take a player that you like at a really important position, but you don't want it to be minimized or misunderstood in terms of what this means in terms of our investment and our commitment to Matthew for as long as he wants to continue to play. And so you're kind of teetering that line, and clearly, I came off a little grumpier than normal.
What did you take away from that conversation?
That this is a Sean McVay decision. Make no doubts about it. Any decision in that organization is going to be signed off by McVay. But any question Thursday night that he went, Les Snead went rogue is now looked at as silly. And he had to do that and take his man because of the way they look at the future of this team. Stafford, to them, they'd love for him to stay there 3-4 years, whatever. But he is year to year, and looking at his age and the fact it's a final season maybe with the LA Super Bowl if it all goes that way, they don't envision themselves ever having a top 5, top 10 pick. So we're talking about the Jets and being in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. The Rams don't see that. They also looked at the free agent landscape for the next couple of years. They don't see a big name. So they said at 13th overall, I know Lemon's on the board, I know Sadiq's on the board, we're going to take a quarterback and ensure that we have a handoff plan once Stafford does call it quits. I'll add this. If they had traded the 13th overall pick and got Trent McDuffie at 13 and taken Ty Simpson with the 29th pick, I don't think there would be this brouhaha. Instead, they got McDuffie in the trade and they took Simpson where they could.
Great point.
They're happy with it. It's a long-term plan.
So, Dan, we know how much you like the player, but did you like the pick based upon who made it?
Absolutely. I think this is the right decision for a well-run organization. Everyone who's saying the Rams should have taken wide receiver, okay? The average rookie wide receiver right now over the last 10 years in the first round comes in, gives you 52 catches and 4 touchdowns. If you think the Rams are 52 catches and 4 touchdowns away from a wide receiver from going to the Super Bowl and winning it, you're out of your mind. To pass on a quarterback at that position that they really like in the future to get 52 and 4 is not going to be the difference making of a Super Bowl. You're replacing the quarterback position for one of two reasons: performance or age. No matter what organization, either the performance isn't good enough or the age is too old. The Rams are in a situation where the age is getting there, but the performance doesn't match. And that's why they're trying to thread the needle. This is a threading of the needle. It's a rare situation where you're trying to do both timelines the right way, essentially at the same time. And you just got to trust an organization that, God bless, has done it right for like 8 years now at a pretty high level.
D-Wood, you were telling me this morning some of the players in that locker room might not see it that way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I'm a veteran guy, it's like, this guy's not helping me in 2026. I think to a man, all of us at the table believe that the Rams are, if not the favorite, one of the favorite teams to win the Super Bowl. And you just sitting there like, this guy's not going to play. Mm-hmm. He's just not going to play. I understand. Listen, I understand the whole premise that we're not going to be, more than likely, we're not going to pick anywhere near the position that we're at. But as a veteran, I'm not concerned about 2027.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not concerned about any of that. I want guys that can help me right now win a Super Bowl.
The only thing, could you close your eyes right now? Fast forward, Rams hosting the Super Bowl essentially in LA because it's in LA, win, and Matthew retires. Then all of a sudden you're sitting there going, well, what do we do now? We have the 32nd pick. Yeah. We're nowhere near getting another quarterback that's good enough to run this offense. Then all of a sudden you become a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But to Damien's point, I could see Kenyon Sadiq catching 7 passes for 94 yards in the Super Bowl and being a hero. I can't see Ty Simpson doing that.
I agree, but I could also see...
That would be a story.
Jordan Whittington do it. I can see them trading in November for a receiver that's on the market for a team that's not playing well.
For sure.
And all of a sudden, there was never going to be the perfect position or perfect selection for everybody. I understand the veteran thing. They're not running the team. Les Snead is. So you got to trust your general manager that's put you in the situation.
We've seen this go sideways in the past a lot. I'm old enough to remember when the Denver Broncos drafted John Elway's heir apparent once upon a time.
Tommy
And it
Maddox.
created a rift between Elway and Reeves that really caused an enormous change in that.
Out of UCLA.
And Elway was extremely upset about it because he was like, I'm trying to win the darn thing right now. So I see both sides of it. I mean, honestly, I see both sides of it. The proof will be in the pudding. They could still be the best team this year. They could still wind up winning it. And there's no guarantee who they were going to take in the first round was going to be the difference. But I could see wanting to take someone at 13 that might help you. If in the long run Ty Simpson becomes the quarterback of this team for a decade, then that would be the answer.
And that's the truth. And they really they liked him, and then they started to fall in love with him over the film. And they were like, we actually see it here. The issue is, and Daniel Jeremiah made this point on the broadcast over on NFL Network, I saw it. He said he hasn't played a ton in 5 seasons at Alabama, and he's not going to play a ton the first season with the Los Angeles Rams. So you're talking 15 games over 6 seasons of football.
Yeah.
Not a lot of football.
Yeah, that's a separate question. So it's the pick, and then it's the player. Time will tell. We have much more on the draft as we go. How about another?
Damian, right before you came on in our previous segment, people can go back on the podcast and listen to it. Courtney and I were debating Sean McVay and whether or not he was telling as CC always says, the sports truth, right? I think something was on his mind. He was bothered on Thursday night. He's all in on the Ty Simpson pick. Courtney thinks absolutely not. He's annoyed with that pick and wanted someone else. Where are you on this?
I think he is all in on the Ty Simpson pick, but I think the thing that bothers me, if I'm a veteran in that locker room, I'm like, what the hell can this guy do to help us win a Super Bowl this year? Like, I would really be bothered by that. Because the Rams are my favorite going into the 2026 season. To be the Super Bowl favorite, obviously the game is being played in Los Angeles, but I don't give a damn about 27 and years beyond that. Like, I want guys that can help affect us right now. And so I get it. The fact that you're probably not going to be picking that high again. You got an opportunity to pick a quarterback that, will be post Matthew Stafford. But, man, I don't like it.
That's where I'm at with it, because I think at 13th overall, and Evans on the other side of this, so you said that'd be like a developmental player, somebody who wouldn't see the field all that often. I mean, a receiver could still help you. A defensive end could still help you.
Right, but what Damian's saying is really interesting, because now we're presenting a whole different side of it, right? You presented, Courtney, the side of McVay's annoyed. Mm-hmm. He's presenting the side of, I'm Damian Woody. I'm a 10-year vet in this league. I've won Super Bowls. I've given my blood, sweat, and tears. You're carrying about 27 and 28. I'm here in 26.
Sure.
Which I think is an interesting take. I hadn't thought about it that way.
So, and of course, Matthew Stafford comes into the frame here, Damian, because we hear Kelly Stafford reached out to Ty Simpson after he was drafted, and that Matthew Stafford was made aware of it, but we haven't heard how he feels about it yet. Like, does he have a responsibility to reach out to him, to take him under his wing, even though he's coming off an MVP season? This has been made very clear. This is his team. How does Matthew Stafford have to approach this if you're going to say he approached it in the right way?
I think it depends on who you ask. There's been some quarterbacks just like, it's not like Joe Flacco, I think, famously said, it's not my job to mentor the guy behind me. I'm here to go out here and win football games. Other guys will say, it's my job to pay it forward. Someone helped me along the way, and so I'm going to pay it forward and help the young guy, behind me. So I think it's just really about the mentality of the player in that particular situation.
We're talking with ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody, joining us here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Damian, if the Get Up producers told you today you're only allowed to talk about one team post-draft, which team would you talk about?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I know I'm going to hate to sound like a homer here. I thought the Jets did a fantastic job, to be honest with you, because it's not just about this year. I think they've raised the floor so much with the infrastructure of their team, particularly on offense. I think Geno Smith is going to, the roster that Geno Smith has around him this year as opposed to last year with the Las Vegas Raiders is night and day. But I think more importantly, this year sets the table for next year when the Jets ultimately would get their quarterback. I think it's fascinating. I like what the Cleveland Browns did. I think I think this is the second year in a row the Cleveland Browns knocked it out of the park. The Cleveland Browns scouting department deserves a ovation, because they've somehow they've found a way where they've added some legit players. Last year, we saw what that draft class looked like last year, and I think they've done the same thing this year. And so if they can ever get their quarterback situation figured out, I think the Browns will truly be on their way.
Both teams make a lot of sense in terms of winners. Totally agree with you. One quick follow-up. I just realized something based on what you said. Is it on the table that Geno Smith wins his second comeback player of the year this year? He won it in 2022, non-injury reasons. He stunk last year, and you just painted a picture that he could be pretty good with the Jets this year.
He could. He literally could. I mean, think about what Geno Smith was playing with the Raiders. Probably the worst offensive line. He had no wide receivers. You know, Brock Bowers was hurt. You know, half the season last year, and so now you look at what he has to work with here. With Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper, you know, A.D. Mitchell, Breece Hall, the Sadiq kid, the tight end out of Oregon, like, and a really good offensive line. Like, things, it could really pop off for Geno Smith in 2026.
Do you think that based on how they've built the infrastructure around the quarterback, if Geno's there long term, I think we'd all be a little surprised, even given the argument you lay out. But it seems like they're setting up 2027 in New York perfectly for a franchise quarterback. Is it more likely that that is a rookie, or is it more likely that it's a veteran? Because there's some really interesting names out there potentially in 2027.
I think depending on how Geno plays this year, I think he'll come back in 2027. The ideal situation, Courtney, is Geno plays well. They draft their future quarterback in the 27 draft. He doesn't play. Geno continues to play. Because, quite honestly, that's what's really failed the Jets over the years. They draft these guys, whether it's Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, those guys, then they thrust them in right in the mix when they're not ready and the roster's not ready, and then they ruin those guys. I think you see a totally different scenario potentially with the Jets this go around. So I like the way that they're heading as an organization.
We're talking with ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Damian, leave Mendoza to the side. The quarterback that you think will get the most playing time drafted this year is which one?
Probably Carson Beck.
Why?
Well, we know Jacoby Brissett got a contract situation that needs to sort itself out, and I could just see a situation where if that situation doesn't sort itself out or he gets hurt, Carson Beck is the next man up. This is a guy that's played a lot of football in college. Between Georgia and Miami. And so, like, out of all the quarterbacks, I could see him being that next guy after Fernando Mendoza to, you know, have some significant playing time this year.
Okay, so take it a step beyond that, because Evan and I were pretty much in lockstep that we think Carson Beck will play a significant portion of games. I said initially like 4 to 5. I think you took that number up quite a bit.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at the Chiefs right now, and there's no definitive timetable about when Patrick Mahomes comes back, if it's week 1, if he needs a couple more weeks to get ready in the season, Garrett Nussmeier got drafted by them 249th overall. Looks like a lot of people were looking more at that shoulder, and maybe his health is the reason that he fell. But tell me why I'm crazy or not crazy for thinking that he could beat Justin Fields out to be the backup and potentially be playing games in Mahomes' absence this year.
I don't think, as far as the NFL is concerned, none of that is far-fetched. The thing about Garrett Nussmeier, he's a coach's son. He's been in that mode his whole life. He's been coached. He's played a lot of games. In college, obviously, he was dealing with the injury, and I think he had the cyst in his back that was sitting on a nerve, and so all those things kind of played out. But listen, when you're going to a place like Kansas City, you got Andy Reid coaching you, okay? You got Andy Reid coaching you. If we go back to 2024, he put some damn good tape out there at LSU. And so I think as far as a pastor of the football,
it's on the table.
I wouldn't put anything, like, I've seen crazier things happen in the National Football League.
Damian Woody, ESPN NFL analyst. You'll see him on Get Up at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Always a pleasure. And he's not worried about the Lakers. He said, no, we don't even need to talk about it.
We're not going to go there.
5. Wasn't that the thing that we used to say at this network?
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. There
Come
you
up with
go.
some other words that rhyme.
I don't know what Courtney